I am 41 years old, married for 12 years, father of 2, living in a quiet neighborhood where nothing ever really happens, or at least that is what I used to believe. If you had asked me a year ago how my life was, I would have said stable, boring in a good way, predictable. I had a job that paid the bills, a wife I believed loved me, kids who still ran to hug me when I got home. I wasn't chasing passion or excitement anymore. I thought we had moved into the phase of life where companionship mattered more than sparks. My wife Jenna and I met in college, built our lives from nothing, grew up together in a lot of ways. My younger brother Mark has always been part of that life too. He is 5 years younger, louder, more charming, always the favorite at family gatherings. He was my best man. I helped him through breakups, loaned him money, let him crash on my couch more times than I can count. We were close. Or I thought we were. Everything felt normal. Holidays, dinners, game nights, kids playing in the yard. No screaming fights. No obvious cracks. Just a normal family life. Looking back, I don't know if I was blind or just willfully comfortable. Because the truth is, while I was busy appreciating stability, something rotten was quietly growing underneath my roof. Mark started coming around more often about a year ago. He said his apartment felt lonely after a breakup and that being at our place made him feel less depressed. I didn't question it. He was my brother. Family is supposed to be there for each other. Jenna actually encouraged it. She'd text him first sometimes, asking if he wanted to come for dinner. She'd make his favorite meals, laugh at his jokes a little harder than mine, but I told myself I was imagining things. They had known each other for over a decade. Of course they were comfortable. I noticed small things, things I brushed off. They'd be in the kitchen together when I got home, talking quietly. If I walked in, the conversation would change. Not stop. Just shift. Jenna started mentioning Mark more in casual conversation. Mark said this, Mark thinks that. It felt harmless. He'd stay late, sometimes past midnight, saying he didn't want to drive tired. Jenna would say it was safer if he crashed on the couch. I agreed. I trusted both of them completely. That trust feels humiliating now. I didn't see flirting. I didn't see touching. I didn't see anything physical. What I saw was closeness. And I convinced myself that closeness was normal. The first real discomfort hit me one night when I woke up around 2 in the morning and noticed Jenna wasn't in bed. At first I assumed she was in the bathroom or checking on one of the kids. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. I got up and walked quietly through the hallway. The kids were asleep. The bathroom was empty. I went downstairs and saw the living room light on. Mark was lying on the couch. Jenna was sitting on the floor near him, her back against the couch, wrapped in a blanket. They were talking in low voices. When I asked what was going on, Jenna jumped slightly, like I had startled her. She said Mark was having a hard night and couldn't sleep. Mark nodded and said yeah, just talking. I felt weird, but I also felt stupid for feeling weird. So I apologized for interrupting and went back to bed. That moment replayed in my head for weeks. Not because I saw anything inappropriate, but because of how instinctively I made excuses for them. I kept telling myself I was insecure. I was projecting. Marriage after a decade gets quiet. Maybe I was just afraid of losing something even though nothing was actually happening. Looking back, I realized that was the moment my gut tried to warn me. And I told it to shut up. The turning point didn't come in a dramatic way. No screaming. No caught in bed. It came through something stupid and small. Jenna left her phone on the kitchen counter one morning when she rushed upstairs to grab something. I saw the screen light up. A message preview from Mark. It said, "I miss you already." My heart started pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. I stared at the phone like it was going to explode. I didn't pick it up. I didn't open it. I just stood there frozen, trying to invent innocent explanations. Maybe he meant he missed hanging out. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe I misread it. When Jenna came back, she grabbed her phone quickly, too quickly, and smiled at me like nothing was wrong. I didn't say anything. I carried that message inside me like a ticking bomb. For the next few days, I watched them more closely. I noticed lingering looks, inside jokes, soft smiles. I noticed how Jenna seemed lighter when Mark was around, how she laughed in a way I hadn't heard in a long time. I felt like I was slowly drowning but didn't know how to scream. I still didn't confront either of them. I was terrified that once I did, whatever fragile version of my life I still had would completely shatter. The day I caught them started like any other boring Tuesday. I went to work, answered emails, sat through meetings I barely remember now. All day I had this heavy feeling in my chest, like something bad was waiting for me. I decided to leave work early, telling myself I wanted to surprise Jenna with dinner. Part of me knows that was a lie. I wanted to see who was in my house. When I pulled into the driveway, Mark's car was there. My stomach dropped. It was 3 in the afternoon. The kids were still at school. I sat in my car for a full minute, staring at the front door, debating whether to just drive away. But I didn't. I walked inside quietly. The house was too quiet. No TV. No music. I heard faint voices coming from the basement. I remember thinking maybe they were just talking. Maybe I was still wrong. I walked toward the basement door. With every step, my hands started shaking more. I opened the door slowly. As I went down the stairs, I heard Jenna laugh. Not a casual laugh. A soft, intimate one. When I reached the bottom, I saw them on the old couch we keep down there. Jenna was straddling Mark. His hands were under her shirt. They didn't see me at first. I made a noise without realizing it. Jenna turned her head and our eyes met. Everything stopped. My entire world collapsed in that second. I don't remember screaming, but Jenna later told me I did. All I remember is this rushing sound in my ears and this burning pressure behind my eyes. Mark pushed her off him and stood up, stammering my name over and over like saying it enough times would fix something. Jenna pulled her shirt down, her face white, mouth opening and closing like she couldn't figure out which lie to use first. I just stood there staring at them. I kept waiting for my brain to wake up from a nightmare. My first words were something incredibly stupid. I said, "What the fuck is this?" Jenna started crying immediately. Big, messy sobs. Mark tried to talk at the same time. Both of them talking over each other. I couldn't process any of it. I felt detached from my body, like I was watching someone else's life fall apart. I walked past them and went back upstairs. I don't know why. Maybe I needed air. Maybe I needed distance. I ended up in the kitchen, gripping the counter so hard my hands hurt. They followed me. Jenna kept saying, "It's not what it looks like," which might be the most insulting sentence I have ever heard. Mark kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." I didn't respond. I couldn't. If I opened my mouth, I was afraid I would either collapse or do something I could never take back. Eventually words started coming out of them in pieces. They said it just happened. They said it started a few months ago. They said they never meant to hurt me. Jenna kept repeating that she still loved me. Mark kept saying he hated himself. None of it made sense. None of it helped. I asked how long. They avoided the question at first. When I pushed, Jenna whispered, "About 6 months. 6 months. While I was kissing my kids goodnight. While I was sitting next to her on the couch. While I was inviting my brother into my home." I asked if they had slept together before that day. Jenna nodded. I felt something inside me break permanently. I told Mark to get out of my house. He tried to hug me. I shoved him away. He left. The door closing behind him sounded final in a way I can't explain. Jenna collapsed onto the floor, crying. I didn't comfort her. I couldn't even look at her. All I could see was the image of her on top of him in my basement. Over and over again. That image has never left me. I slept in my car that night. I couldn't stand being in the same space as her. I didn't tell anyone. Not my parents. Not my friends. I felt ashamed, like their betrayal somehow meant I had failed as a husband and as a brother. The next morning I went home because I needed clothes for work and because running forever isn't actually possible. Jenna was sitting at the kitchen table like she hadn't moved all night. Her eyes were swollen. She looked small. I felt nothing. No pity. No love. Just a hollow, aching numbness. She started talking as soon as she saw me. She said she was confused. She said she felt lonely. She said our marriage had been distant. She said Mark made her feel seen. Every sentence felt like another knife. Not because I didn't believe she felt those things, but because none of them justified what she did. I asked if she planned to leave me for him. She said no. She said it was a mistake. I asked if she loved him. She hesitated. That hesitation destroyed me more than a yes would have. I told her I didn't know if I could ever look at her again without seeing them together. She cried harder. I didn't comfort her. I packed a bag and told her I needed space. I went to a cheap motel and sat on the bed staring at the wall for hours. I kept replaying every moment of the past year, searching for clues, searching for the exact moment I stopped being enough. Mark started texting me nonstop. Long messages. Apologies. Explanations. Voicemails where he was crying. I didn't respond to any of them. I blocked his number after 3 days because every notification made me feel physically sick. My parents noticed something was wrong. I told them Jenna and I were having issues. I couldn't bring myself to say the truth. Saying it out loud felt like making it more real. Jenna kept asking me to come home and talk. Eventually I did, mostly because I missed my kids so badly it hurt. We tried to have conversations, but they were really just Jenna talking and me staring at the floor. She admitted they met up secretly. She admitted they had sex in our house multiple times. She admitted they sometimes laughed about how clueless I was. That part nearly broke me. I asked her why my brother. Of all people. She said it wasn't planned. She said proximity. Shared loneliness. I asked if she would stop seeing him. She said yes immediately. I asked if she had already stopped. She said no. That answer told me everything. She wasn't choosing me. She was choosing to keep both of us as long as she could. I started sleeping in the guest room. We existed in the same house but felt like strangers. The kids could tell something was wrong. They started acting quieter. That hurt more than anything else. The rage hit later. At first I was numb. Then sad. Then suddenly I was angry in a way I didn't recognize. I would be driving and have to pull over because my hands were shaking so badly. I fantasized about punching Mark. About screaming at Jenna until I lost my voice. About burning the basement couch. I hated myself for those thoughts. I hated them for putting those thoughts in my head. I started drinking more than I should. Not blackout drunk, but enough to take the edge off. Enough to sleep. Jenna suggested couples counseling. I laughed in her face. Not because therapy is stupid, but because I couldn't imagine sitting in a room pretending we were a normal broken couple instead of a husband whose wife slept with his brother. My parents kept asking questions. Mark apparently told them he and I had a falling out. I still didn't correct the story. I felt like protecting everyone else from the truth while slowly drowning in it myself. I didn't want pity. I didn't want advice. I didn't want to hear people say they always knew something was off. I just wanted my old life back. And I knew that was impossible. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. Divorce is not a single event. It's 1,000 small losses stacked on top of each other. Signing papers. Splitting bank accounts. Deciding who gets what furniture. Watching Jenna pack boxes. Watching my kids hug her goodbye when she moved into an apartment. I stayed in the house because I couldn't handle more change. The basement still exists. I avoid it. I can't bring myself to go down there. I told the kids it has mold issues. Maybe it does. My mental health has been shaky. Some days I feel functional. Some days I feel like I'm dragging myself through mud. I tried therapy. It helps a little. Mostly it just confirms that what happened was traumatic and unfair. Jenna still says she's sorry. I believe she's sorry she got caught. I don't know if she's sorry she did it. I haven't asked. We communicate about the kids and nothing else. I don't ask about her life. I don't want to know if she still sees Mark. I assume she does. That thought used to make me feel like I was being stabbed. Now it mostly makes me feel tired. Exhausted in my bones. Like I aged 20 years in one season. The hardest part isn't the loneliness. It isn't even the betrayal. It's the way my sense of reality changed. I don't trust my own judgment anymore. I look back at years of memories and wonder which parts were real and which parts were built on lies. I question every compliment Jenna ever gave me. Every time Mark said he had my back. I feel stupid for missing signs that now seem obvious. I also know beating myself up doesn't fix anything, but that doesn't stop me from doing it. Dating feels impossible. The idea of trusting someone with my heart again feels laughable. I worry I will always be waiting for the moment I get blindsided. I worry I'm becoming bitter. I try hard not to let that poison spill onto my kids. They deserve a dad who is present, who laughs, who isn't constantly haunted. Some days I succeed. Some days I don't. I still haven't spoken to Mark. I don't plan to. If I saw him in public, I honestly don't know what I would do. I don't fantasize about revenge anymore. I fantasize about indifference. About a future where his name doesn't cause a reaction at all. I'm not there yet. Maybe I never will be. I don't know if there is a neat ending to this story. There is no big moment where everything suddenly feels okay again. Life just continues. I wake up. I go to work. I make dinner. I help with homework. I try to be a good father. Some nights I lie in bed and feel an ache that has no clear shape. Other nights I feel almost normal, and that scares me too, like maybe I'm forgetting something important. If there is any lesson here, it's not a clean, inspirational one. People you love can destroy you. People you trust can become strangers. Sometimes the villains in your story are the ones who used to sit at your table. I don't share this because I want advice. I don't even know what advice would help. I'm sharing because I've been carrying this alone for a long time and I'm tired. Tired of pretending I'm fine. Tired of minimizing what happened. My wife slept with my brother in my house. That sentence still feels unreal. If you're reading this and you have a bad feeling about something in your life, don't ignore it like I did. I don't know if it would have changed anything, but maybe I wouldn't feel so stupid on top of everything else. I'm trying to build a new life from the wreckage. I don't know what it will look like yet. I just know I don't want to die in the ruins.